Hello fellow raiders and welcome to my humble abode. Last time I reviewed the 10 most astounding locations in the first reboot trilogy, and gee, what a sight for my sore eyes. But today I'd like to make a special video to keep up with the news. In this video I'd like to set out some of the issues that the 2013 reboot trilogy might encounter while trying to unify the timelines and tie in with the rest of the series. You could say that the latest Tomb Raider trilogy was first introduced as a deviation from the rest of the saga, but it's bigger to begin with the one that started it all. Tomb Raider 2013, and I was supposed to make a video about it because you see, I do have a schedule, and if you look at it you'll see that there's much more Top Raider videos coming in, so stay tuned and don't forget to sub. That will help me a lot break the limit of 1000 subs. I mean, it's not much of an effort, and it's free, so... Anyway, whether we like it or not, and you know what my position is, Tomb Raider 2013 was groundbreaking, an unprecedented experience in the Tomb Raider universe. It boldly asserted a style that was radically different from what players were accustomed to. The hype and stuff contributed to make it one of the best-selling games in the series, but Tomb Raider 2013 also irrevocably changed a few aspects of the franchise which, in the context of unification of all the timelines, can pose certain problems, and not necessarily inconsistencies, but other issues that I try to discuss in an orderly manner, because the name of this series is Top Raider. So here's the top 7 reasons why the timelines could be united or not. Yes, I'm going to give you my arguments for both, and I'll let you know what my final take on this question is at the end of this video, so stick around until the very end. The first point that I want to make is that Tomb Raider 2013 was conceived as a reboot. After all, that was the game that started it all. Tomb Raider 2013 was a hard reboot, which meant that we were supposed to forget anything about Tomb Raider. Legend in comparison was a soft reboot, which kept almost everything intact. Well, at least in theory, because if you go back to 2005 and put yourself in the shoes of someone that was expecting a follow-up to The Angel of Darkness, Legend was a big slap in the face. Not because it was a good game, that was a positive slap indeed, but rather because yes, it was a soft reboot, but it felt like a hard one. No one that is honest enough will tell you Legend was what a core design player expected. Not at all. And I'm not saying the game wasn't good, it was just completely new in the realm of Tomb Raider games. It was like a condensed version of everything we liked in Tomb Raider, but in a very linear environment, and with specific gameplay mechanics. The 2013 reboot, on the other hand, was envisioned as a complete redesign of who the Tomb Raider was. So why would they go back on their decision? Well, that leads me to my second point, because there's something we need to settle right now. No, on a big scale of all things in the universe, the hard reboot was more a change of directions in game design than a proper reboot. Actually, the reboot idea is, in my opinion, subservient to the change of directions in game design I was mentioning. Let me tell you why. There's been a red line ever since Tomb Raider started, and that would be our character's wish to chase after all kinds of artifacts. That not only meant that she had to raid tombs, there were also puzzles she had to crack to achieve her goals. So why did they keep the puzzles in the hard reboot? Yes, the puzzles in 2013 are not exactly what people play it for in the holy modern age. Well, except people like me, and that's because we've had a history with Tomb Raider games, so we have expectations. Puzzles in former Tomb Raider games were part of the game progression. They weren't optionals, in other words. Some of them were, but that was more as a reward for exploration than anything else. In the reboot, it is true that they are still a reward for exploration, so they have the same finality. But the elements constituting the puzzles and how they are put in relation to each other have completely changed. The core design era was the basis of everything, and the futures of the trilogy showed that the devs understood puzzles were constitutive of Tomb Raider's identity. As far as I know, every single Tomb Raider game so far has been about at least one artifact. That's our common denominator. Tomb Raider is about Lara Croft going for artifacts. The rest is just the story and relies on your ability to suspend your disbelief or not.
That's exactly how I felt.
The biggest change has to do with Lara's personality, and there's a big difference between how she's shown in the cutscenes and how she actually plays as a character in the game, but I will come back to that later. The real question here is how many versions of Lara Croft are there? I often read that Lara was too empathetic in the reboot. Okay, I know she had her moments in the original timeline, but if you take a closer look, you will notice that in terms of personality, there are two possible outcomes to that problem. The truth is, Lara's always been empathetic as long as her life was not in danger. That's why she helps the monks in Tomb Raider 2, or the prisoners in Tomb Raider 3, or Jean-Yves in Tomb Raider 4, or the priest in Tomb Raider Chronicles. Well, you understood. The other outcome is the complete opposite. Lara's personality has always been inconsistent. Lara in Tomb Raider 96 was already very different from Tomb Raider 2 or Tomb Raider 3 Lara. That she might kill someone in cold blood, like shooting them in the face, isn't surprising when it all boils down to that simple statement: kill or be killed. And Lara simply wasn't a cold-blood killer until she started to take down an entire mafia in Venice. The newer versions of Lara do the same. Whenever she assumes the person she's going to murder is going to try to do the same, she will be given the option to kill them. Lara's relation to death has always been inconsistent.
I'm not who you think I am.
Back when Anniversary was released, we had that scene. That wasn't in the main game and I remember people complaining on the forums. Now with the reboot doing the exact same thing, you could say that this is inconsistent, but I don't think it is. In 2013 she kills somebody for the first time, whereas in Anniversary she kills someone she knows for the first time, which is not the same thing. The real problem comes from the fact that this event in 2013 became a key defining element of the hard reboot. It happened only once, but it sticks with you for the rest of the game. This game is already inconsistent with itself, in other words. So no, I don't think the timelines cannot be unified based on Lara's relation to death being inconsistent. We shouldn't forget that this is a video game we're talking about, and in a video game like this, you need bad guys. Lara Croft Tomb Raider is first and foremost a video game franchise, so the decisions that were made were taken not as you normally would in a movie. If it's convenient to create a few inconsistencies in a game, that shouldn't be your problem, as long as the game doesn't pretend to be a story with consequences like a Mass Effect game, for instance. Don't mention it. The most pessimistic among us would say that they don't really care about the core design era, and yet if you look a bit closer, you'll realize that the unification of the timelines has actually already begun. The Jade Dragon statuette you find in Rise of the Tomb Raider is a direct allusion to Tomb Raider 2, and she says in the future tense that she will be looking into it. So what we took for an Easter egg may actually be what will give her the impetus to look for the dagger. And what about Winston the butler? Is mentioned once in Rise of the Tomb Raider as an Easter egg, and yet he physically appeared in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The big argument is that there are at least 3 versions of Lara, but when you think about it, I think there might be even more. In Tomb Raider 96 we know from the booklet that Lara developed her knack for adventure after a plane crashed when she was 21, so that would be 1989. And yet in future interactions like Chronicles and The Last Revelation, she already has a knack for adventures at a much younger age. It's going to be an unpopular opinion, but the original timeline was already inconsistent with itself. The real problem is that the unification would not only be inconsistent with Lara's family history, it would also be anachronistic. Let's begin with her family before we delve deeper. Now I don't remember exactly the details, but as far as we know, Lara's mother died in a plane crash in Tomb Raider Legend, and we don't know much about what happened to her in the survival timeline. Conversely, the Legend timeline is more elusive about her father, but that can be easily fixed if, yes, and I said if, you overlook a few details. Let's take the Croft Manor as illustration. Young Lara loses her mother in a plane crash, and her father is obsessed with finding the truth. Being an archaeologist, he finds refuge into his work, but is killed by Trinity. The Croft family is disgraced, and Lara loses her right to the estate. She manages to win the manor back and refurnishes it, but then it's destroyed in Tomb Raider Underworld. Then it's rebuilt from the grounds up, and that's the original timeline, the manor that we all know and love for some reason. Anyway, that will work in theory, but actually doesn't. And the reason why is that it would simply be anachronistic, so it would be impossible, in other words. In the original timeline, Lara was born in 1968, but the Endurance wreckage is found in 2012, which would imply that Lara existed before she was even born in the Survivor trilogy. And in the theory I just explained, there would be 2 versions of the manor for the same story. Yeah guys, my conclusion is without appeal. Even if we don't care about the dates, Anniversary f***ed up everything. First of all, Tomb Raider is now officially a quarter century old, and holy mocy, I'm all wrinkles now. Also, I think they realized after the hard reboot they couldn't just take a series and destroy it like they did with that game. They realized there are still people who enjoy playing the older games, and like any other players, we are also customers, an investment for the future. Unifying the timelines is in my theory a way to try and unify not different versions of Lara, but different communities, because these games are so different and target different audiences. Just look at that ratio on my video, it's just insane. Et dire que je vais faire pareil avec Final Fantasy, je suis bien dans la merde moi. It's not so much the Tomb Raider universe they're interested in, it's us the players. They need to reassure 2013 reboot players on the one hand, and they need to reassure the classic players as well on the other. But in the end, they're all getting us worried. Anyway, thanks for watching this, don't forget to leave an impression, a good one if you can, and you may also want to hit that subscribe button if you want to keep track of my next Tomb Raider videos. Next time I'll deliver a special video to thank you guys for the 700 subs, maybe 750 by the time the video comes out, but still, you guys are awesome. And if you want to help me, please share that video, leave a comment and look up the playlist for more. And whenever I pop up in your recommendation list, just click, it helps me more than you could imagine. See you next time, and remember, have fun! Oh wait, I forgot to give you my final take on the matter. Well, I think that